issue of this morning. Wayne execs plan seeking $230 million in cuts. Union calls 4-year bid to fix county's deficit a non-starter. This isn't exactly the way you wanted it to start, but it shouldn't be a surprise to anyone, should it, Executive Evans?
No, Paul, good morning. I don't think it should be a surprise. I mean, I understand that it's a bitter pill for all of us to swallow. I think the main thing people need to understand is sometimes it gets pitted as trying to balance the budget on the backs of the little guy, and the reality is this is balancing the budget on the backs of everybody from my office down, and it's something we have to do. I mean, there's no $52 million in structural deficit is the reality. But we've got to get to that reality. So the number can't change. I mean, maybe we tweak left or right based on input from other people as to how we, down in the weeds, how we make a few of those changes. But by and large, I think it's got to follow that plan.
Strong medicine by your own words, but the fact is everybody's going to be taking this medicine pretty much.
That's absolutely correct. There will be no variances except for the issue of the starting pay for prosecutors and sheriff's deputies. We are not going to impose the 5% pay cut on them, and specifically it's because we're having a terrible time recruiting now anyway. And those are important functions. Like, if I can't get people to work, then that's even a bigger problem. So we're going to leave them alone for now.
Hard for a lot of places to, very specifically in our case, hire some police officers or sheriff deputies when they can go to work for the Michigan State Police and make almost, double right off the bat.
Well, significantly more. Our deputies at the starting level are paid significantly less than their counterparts in the surrounding counties, and that has a lot to do with, number one, whether we can get them, and number two, retention. And since one of the most important things that a county does is run county jails, hopefully safely and securely, that we're not able to do that without incurring tons and tons of overtime. That's a financial problem also.
Cutting health care benefits for employees and retirees. Workers who retired before 2007 would be offered stipends to get health care. We'll continue our conversation here with the Wayne County Executive Warren Evans, giving out the tough medicine that has to be done to try to get Wayne County healthy again without going bankrupt or having receivership or an emergency manager or all those other things we're all very familiar with. 7:51. Our WJR traffic first on the ones, and Dana Clark.
This report brought to you by Parkway Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Attention new car buyers, Parkway Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, America's #1 volume dealer, needs to sell down excessive inventory. Take advantage of our award season event and enjoy deep discounts on our entire inventory. You can't lose. Parkway Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Hall Road in Clayton Township. Just show up, sign up, and ride. 94 eastbound at State Street, accident up to the shoulder. That's in the clearing stages. Very slow go on the lodge this morning southbound between Runcer and Evergreen. 696 westbound slow between Mount and 11 Mile. And the Jeffries is slow eastbound between 275 down to Farmington. This report also brought to you by Bader & Sons Company. For big savings on John Deere compact or utility tractors, look to the experts at Bader & Sons Company. Get low rate financing and big cash discounts on all John Deere 1 to 6 series tractors through June 1st. Hurry into Bader & Sons Company today or visit them online at greentractors.com. I'm Dana Clark, WJR, right now traffic.
Thank you, Dana. 7:52, the Quick Park Weather Center forecast. WJR meteorologist John McMurray says sunny and beautiful today, high of 62. Fair to partly cloudy tonight, low 40 to 43. Tomorrow, more sun and a high of 63. 37 degrees. Back with Wayne County Executive Warren Evans up next. Something to think about with Mike Rogers. Last week showed that Boston is still strong. Raising the minimum retirement age to 62. Currently, employees can retire at age 50 with 25 years of service, or at age 60 with just 5 years of service. That's got to change.
Yeah, it does, and it's I'd hate to be the person in that situation dealing with that dilemma right now. I mean, it's tough to do, but the one thing that's important for people to remember is any accrued pension benefits they have to date will be as they were originally promised and structured. So whatever you've done to date will not change. going forward, the multiplier will be reduced if the plan is adopted. We do have to raise the minimum retirement age, and we also have to eliminate the discount purchase of years of service. I mean, that's one of the things that's gotten us in this trouble.
Explain very quickly to our listeners, because that was pretty astounding when I first heard that.
The discounts?
Yeah, that you could buy your way out early.
Sure. Yeah, and that's gotten us in a lot of trouble. A number of people who didn't have enough years to retire were able to buy the years of service necessary to retire, but they bought them at very, very discounted rates that had absolutely nothing to do with the actuarial requirements to pay those pensions. And so, you know, you get somebody going out in their 40s and they're able to buy time, and they're going to draw on a retirement system, hopefully, if they're lucky, for another 40 years in terms of their health. I mean, pension system cannot handle that sort of thing. So those are some of the changes. Also, the average years for the average number of years that are factored in to compute your average final compensation will have to increase to about 10 years now. I think it's 3 to 5 years. All of this is designed to get the pension system in keeping with reality, so that we can actually guarantee those pensions when those people leave. I mean, this is the draconian, what people think are draconian here, are designed to protect their interest in a retirement system when they retire.
Wayne County Executive Warren Evans and his recovery plan, we wish you best of luck. Thanks for coming on board to tell us about it. And remember this, with the measures that he has put together, he projects an annual general fund surplus totaling $36.8 million from 2016 to 2019. It can happen. It's going to hurt, but it can be done. We continue on the Paul W. Smith Show, WJR.
I missed some seconds of that again in the second part, but the time today is 7:58 a.m. for April the 28th, 2015. Now, all this confusion is not respecting your city workers, employees, taxpayer service employees, and or et cetera, whatever label description you want to give them. Now, they are, because my comment applies to all of them, if it applies, but I feel that it does apply, but if it doesn't, well, it doesn't. The city employees disrespected their bosses, the citizens, taxpayer citizens, and now they are fighting for their rights as city government employees, if it applies, denied citizens equality and fairness. And all that, some of them may have said, well, I'm going to retire in a couple of years, 7 more years. I'm not going to get fired trying to help that citizen and my colleagues, and or et cetera, not going to do the right thing. I have so many audio recordings that I lost because my mother threw my computer outside in the garbage. And that's a criminal offense. You threw away criminal information. But that's the mindset she in. Not in control of her own faculties in some cases. In fact, because that's how the citizens have been dysfunctionally programmed, like, what you're doing is waste of time and all this and that. And that was the result of our governmental agencies, taxpayer service employees, non-compliant of honorable and generous behavior to their full legal capacity with honorable and generous behavior. And so now, the powers that be that's above them are giving them the same treatment as they gave the citizens, if it applies, which is the true bosses that pay their wages, no matter how you look at it. Where the citizens own ignorance and non-compliance of unity and togetherness, as a citizen of Detroit should be. No matter what our governmental agencies does, the citizens has been successfully, dysfunctionally programmed, herded, and believing what the masses do believe and do know that we are being wrong, but don't have the necessary skills to implement unity because of the dysfunctional programming successfulness of the powers that be that broke down the liberty, happiness of the citizens, where we throw in the towel, get discouraged. And that alone proves what I'm saying, where we can't get together. Every organization, every group that's in the city think they showing improvement, and some of them are. The ones that I have a experience with, but they are being denied constitutional obligations, or not obligations, they are being denied by being discredited. Like the Reverend in Benton Harbor got locked up for election fraud. Come on. That's fraudulent in itself. And the due process court system went along with the powers that be corruptness, because they want to be in that spot again to reach their retirement and get their pension. And so if they can be appointed to that position or elected to that position, because if you're not a ball player, game player, when the term is up, it's up and you out. And you have to find another job. Which judges are to be the last stages of equality and fairness. Uphold the citizens, what is the word I'm looking for? Worth and value and sovereignty, which is mandated, ratified, and registered by the U.S. Constitution, that the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, that some may call Treaty of Peace and Friendship, if I made that statement correct. Now, my baptismal name is Clyde Darnell Lynch, all rights reserved without prejudice. I am Prince Clyde Darnell Lynch, equality and fairness by contract is paramount mandatory by law. Amen. Now, some things I wasn't going to say because this is an auto recording of a show that has more clout than other shows because the power that be is with them. And other shows, the powers that be are with them, but it's a little bit of difference in it if it applies. So now, Mr. Evans came and restructured it. So this is what I'm talking about. Governmental officials take care of their own self illegally and quickly. Whoever made that contract where someone can buy what they were talking about, they can buy time to retirement and they retire at 40 and buy their time, that was an illegal procedural step. So the person who created that documentation where a person can do that needs to be locked up. And anybody that, it's to get over, I'm going to get over. And those individuals that paid in to retire early, I guarantee you if they take a polygraph test, they will fail. They never assisted a citizen with legitimate, real issues. Well, I'm going to say all the issues real, that they legitimately assisted someone, but the issues that was true, with my lack of words. Let me see, can I find the right word? Let's say my situation. I'm going after a company that paid donations give donations of millions or thousands of dollars donations to labor relations. What's that? NAACP. I'm coming hitting them with an issue that's so touchy and delicate that nobody don't want to deal with it. So they just blow me off, non-compliant. And I guarantee you find a lot of governmental employees, I know some that's no longer living, that denied me, just ignore me and say, oh, we can't help you because they needed their job. Because the head administration said, we ain't going to deal with that. That's our biggest contributor. They give us so many dollars every month. But you're a non-profit governmental agency, you don't receive funding from the government, and you accept donations from private business owners who you're supposed to be going after. And the most important thing is business law was violated. The Constitution was violated. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights was violated. United Nations contract. You know, as some people call it, the Treaty Peace of Friendship. But I'm up just talking now to all these different organizations spinning their wheels, and the ones that's doing the most damage is not getting no airplay. But we get this airplay on the radio and news so we can be heard in thinking, fascinated and charmed that these things that's being implemented by experienced governmental officials is legitimate. You cannot take away nothing from a citizen if they haven't been convicted of a crime. So it appears that government officials have been giving perks and privileges for years. On the taxpayer dime. And they, if it applies, the governmental officials in return have been denying citizens liberty and happiness, equality and fairness, whatever label, description, words you use, you want to describe it. So it just amazes me how they get on these shows and say, especially Mr. Evans with his law experience, expertise, still riding the waves of the powers that be, and we think they doing something good. What we need to have is a survey of all the Detroit residents who have been denied due process in any complaint that they made to any private public business, government official, and that will be the start of the true legitimate reconstruction for the citizens in an organization, delusional title that I call the Constitutional New World Order. The first couple of steps we need to do is re-educate the citizens, starting in the school system, Detroit public school system, private schools. Make sure the kids know their timetables before they graduate. If they don't know their timetables before they graduate from elementary school, they can't graduate elementary school if they don't know the timetables. If they can't break down the U.S. Federal Constitution, Bill of Rights by elementary school. Now, them kids don't know, everybody know right from wrong. It's on the school. It's what, about 26, 27 Bill of Rights, and here they're going to say, oh, he don't know, so what he talking about? Trust me, I know. It's about 26, 27 Bill of Rights. So if the kids know half of them before they get out of elementary school, Bill of Rights is the difference from right and wrong, just like the Constitution is right and wrong. Laws are right and wrong. Things that you grow up as a kid knowing, you don't go in the kitchen, don't touch the hot stove, don't touch nothing on the stove, that's right or wrong. If you touch the stove, you did something wrong, you're going to deal with the consequences. You're going to get burned or hurt real bad. Don't run around in certain areas. Don't play in the street. The ball going in the street, don't go after it. We know right from wrong. But the kid will be distracted of running after the ball or the toy, and they won't even be thinking about right and wrong. They be distracted by going and getting the toy, but the right thing to do is go get an adult or older kid to go get the toy ball that we're in the street, or look both ways before you go on the street. But you still may be distracted of going after the toy or the ball. You may not look good enough, and consequences will happen. So if the kids in elementary school knows how to break down, understand half of the Bill of Rights that's within their mindset of being an elementary school kid, which I feel they can learn all of them, but I'm not trying to put all that on at one time. They learn half of them. They go to middle school, they learn the other half. Then when they get in high school, you'll know the complete Constitution and know how to break it down from word to word, know what it means, know what every word in that article, paragraph, statement, section means, and you can break it down verbally, and you know what it means. So by the time you get out of high school, you know the Constitution, you know your rights. So now an attorney takes 7 years to be an attorney. We in 12 years of school. Don't say that's a career, that's an occupation. You learn that. You need to know the law so you can protect ourselves instead of having private public businesses, attorneys work with government to violate our rights. This is exactly what this segment was about. And we think they doing things restructuring. They're not restructuring nothing. They still taking away from people and what people have already done illegally. I haven't heard nothing about punishing them. But like I said, we don't know the details. We just hear what we hear on the news. But we put our faith, worth, and value in the hands of someone in government. And are they going to do the right thing? No. But the Constitution bounds them to do the right thing, but they don't do the right thing because you can't take away nothing from nobody unless they created a crime. So we have to re-educate the citizens and take back our sovereignty so we can protect it along with our worth and value, not going to be misused by the powers that be and or et cetera. We have to take back our property, which is our worth and value, sovereignty, our land, our property, the Constitution, being controlled of our tax dollars, being used legitimately, instead of fraudulently by the hands of somebody else that don't have us in mind, have our values in mind. They just want to showboating. I can't think of the words because my vocabulary is limited, and somebody's going to say, just read a book. That's that consciousness. Whatever I say with the lack of words, someone else can say it better. So we're saying the same thing. So my worth and value is not being taken legitimately. And that person that's sitting there saying, I probably did more than what they did, or the same thing as they did, but it was different. But we all did the same steps and procedures, but we did them in a different way. Or maybe I did better things of this person discrediting me or giving a conscious feedback that has no merit. Because you may have done nothing, and what I have done is more than what you've done in one day of your struggles. Make one phone call that amounts to everything that you've done in the past week. I done did it in one phone call, if it applies. And therefore, since I don't have the citizens' unity, they're not going to take Mr. Clyde Lynch citizens serious. But I gave them valuable information, but they won't input it in the proper, correct way because that's the solution. Get a survey of all the citizens that have been wronged by making legitimate constitutional complaints to private public businesses, governmental agencies, and or et cetera, that have received non-compliance. Haven't received non-compliance. That's the first thing. Do a survey. And they can prove what they have done. That's the next step. And in the meantime, you are re-educating the citizens. You take control of your learning facilities, the Detroit public school systems. You implement law. You implement making sure things are done properly and truthfully, legitimately. You have to, you graduate elementary school, you have to know your timetables. You have to know half of the Bill of Rights. You go to middle school, you learn the rest of the Bill of Rights. And you will learn the Constitution. And by being in 12 years of mandated schooling, you be learning law. Learn how to prepare cases in the court system, so you have to depend on an attorney because you don't have the down payment to give them, and you don't know the law, so you at the mercy of the corruptness of the powers that be, and or et cetera. Put that in the school system because they had the computer learning for about a year in the city of Detroit. You learn court procedures, and all of a sudden they stopped doing it. I don't know why. I don't know how. That's something I haven't got into yet. But from my knowledge, they don't do it no more. Because I remember going down to the 36th District Court in the county court. I've seen citizens down there filing paperwork on their own. And I'm like, whoa, can you show me how to do that? No, man. You I'm talking to people that's down there, that's attorneys and people that's assistant attorneys. Hey, can you hook me up? Can you show me? Because, I did my paper and I did it wrong. I'm bound. I'm under contract and all this and that. What's up? Cool. 9 to 5, you under contract. I'm a citizen. Could have worked something out. Attorneys are not going to mess with you if you don't have the down payment. And some people say some attorneys will work for you, just take a percentage. There's too much paperwork to do, like attorneys told me. They know it's a lot of work, and they don't want to do it. So therefore, my rights have been violated because I don't have a down payment to start a case. And these cases are simple. I have all the recordings. I went on that alone. I caught you in the lie. Your own documentation is fraudulent. I win. But one of the problems we're going to have is the hold that the powers that be have on the judges in the House of Due Process. So we have unity in the citizens, and we have been re-educated, and the kids that's coming through the school system know their timetables, they know the meaning of the Bill of Rights, the Constitution. They can break it down and understand it, and that loophole, legalese, legal corruption will be over with. The middleman that hinders your true sovereignty and due process is over with. That attorney is over with. The attorney feels the middleman that tell you the do's and don'ts of what could go on in the courtroom is over with, because there should be no unconstitutional limitations and restrictions. Only constitutional restrictions and limitations, which is the true obligation. You have to understand the constitutional restrictions and limitations that are constitutional legitimate obligations that have merit. You have to know how to break that down. And it's all common sense. So the schools put what we need to do to protect our rights instead of being herded into jobs, which is good, into positions that help corporations to build their wealth for their family and heirs to come by employment. If it's an occupational career, people want to put label descriptions, say, I have a career, I have an occupation, you have a job. We all making income to survive. So we're supposed to be living off the land. If you're going to be herded into something, let it be constitutionally done properly. Pay rate is based on inflation and whatever. And I can't think of it right now. And if it was done that way properly, we all be financially stable, no matter if you have a job, an occupation, a career. But the most important thing we must understand, you will not be able to implement honorable and generous behavior in your setting. And some people say, if I'm on the assembly line, all I do is put the parts together. We know we have certain quality steps, and certain things will pass, and certain things won't pass. But even if it don't, it's not quality, we're going to let it pass because it's good enough. We're going to go and let it go. You know what I'm talking about. So it's discretion on everything. Quality in your life is the most important thing. Equality and fairness, due process, liberty, happiness, ignorance, temptation. What's the other word? Ignorant, temptation, unnecessary vengeance isn't constitutional and it's not holy. So all I'm saying is, I said a lot that don't make no sense. We are spinning our wheels. There's too many different organizations. And some is doing a heck of a good job. But they get discredited. They do not get assisted by governmental agencies and or et cetera constitutionally. And they doing a constitutional job more than the governmental agencies is. We can't get no airplay, but they fascinate the charm us with this legal corruption, legalese, the pretense of doing something proper, and we don't even know the worth and value of what they're doing. We just being herded, fascinated, and charmed into consenting to what they are implementing, which is the breaching of our rights. But we don't know that. And we do know that's what's going on, but we just don't know how to protect ourselves. So if you put what an attorney learns, a paralegal, police officer learns in the school system, you come out the back. You could be a paralegal, you could be working law enforcement, but come straight out of high school. You know the law. You go in governmental agencies, have a career. If you want to say that, be an intern based on your 12 years of schooling and go towards trade school or 4-year college and or et cetera. Get that extra added education so you can make more money than just the minimum, which is going to be the standards of a new economics. And you make above that because you went and got a career, want to do better, bigger things. But like I said, will you be able to implement constitutional actions and behavior under the hand of your employer? Because profit is the name of the game. The bottom line is profit. So you have someone that has an issue where you have to pay them, compensate them for a wrong that was done. You're gonna take away from the company profits, so therefore they're not gonna give you the proper redress compensation, recourse is not going to be, they're going to ignore you and say, oh, they're going to be hurting and distracted by other things in life, so we're not worried about it. They're not going to have the money for the attorney. Attorney ain't going to mess with them because it's going to be too much to do. So if attorney tells you that, well, your rights has been violated by the very person that's supposed to aid us in protecting our rights. Labor relations, civil liberties, ombudsman office, human rights, civil rights, NAACP. I've been through all of them. They all denied me a simple open and shut case because it'll hurt them in getting donations from these private businesses. You have to understand a scheme and a racket when you see one. And this whole hookup is a scheme. The true constitutional meaning, definition, protocol, procedures have been distracted from us successfully by the media and the underfunding in the school system, but some kids still excel once they leave the school system that's underfunded, don't get the proper funding. I'm out. It's 30 minutes of nonsense. I'm out. Because someone else will have a better opinion, I should say opinionated way to go, and that's why they are so successful. You running after, you marching on this, you marching on that. Everything is unconstitutional actions and behavior. Get a survey or get the gathering of the citizens, because our real community activists, nonprofit community activists, are our governmental agencies. We have been dysfunctionally programmed and misled to believe that we need to gather in an organization, get black. That's cool, you get your black clubs and all this and that. But we have too many of them catering to the corruption of the very people that we pay to uphold the law. And I can tell you right now, the ones I contacted, I just can go on and on. And I can prove what I'm saying. But the mindset of people thinking that their protocols and procedures or due process, their organization, their black club, community activist organization is doing the right protocols and procedures. And we are just spinning our wheels. You thinking we're getting crumb dust. We're not getting the crumbs. I was just talking to some people last night. And they were saying, oh, we need to go do this and that. I was looking like, that's the crumbs they're giving us. It is nothing but crumb dust. Go bigger than that. Because I just don't want to say it, because I'm going to start meeting with these people again and again, because there were some good things said, and I'm going to try to get with those individuals. I'm going to get with that organization. I say, who all the people you participate with, let's get them all together, the administration, and we're going to create I didn't say this, but we're going to create a blueprint, but I'm going to get on the horn and say, we're going to create a blueprint. We got to stop going after what pops up after it done happened. And we should have knew about it before it happened, and it shouldn't even happen in the first place. So we being distracted and running, going, marching, protesting for this, go marching, protesting for that. The government officials supposed to make sure that don't happen. Even if it's a private public business administration, and do not supposed to let that happen. It's supposed to be protocols and procedures implemented before this got media attention. Before this issue came an issue for a family that didn't get media attention. The private public business is supposed to handle that with due diligence. So we have to put in place unity and togetherness in the city. And Detroit has to be the blueprint for this. Detroit has to be the blueprint. And we know it's corruption and shadiness, because you can speak all the righteous stuff you want, and secretly you're deceiving and satanic. Have your own agenda that have nobody in mind but your pockets. Oh yeah, I want my money. We need to put we need to do a survey on all the citizens in Detroit. We have to take care of the homeless issue. We have to take care of the issue of people not being fed. We shouldn't have the necessity. We should not be wanting or needing the necessity, because in nowadays time of technology, we can do wonders. Like a dude was speaking last night. I had to go holler at him. Another person was speaking. I didn't get an opportunity to holler at him. But I had the opportunity to holler at one person. I had an opportunity to holler at 3, 4 people. And guess what they can do for me? Guess what we can do for each other if we get togetherness, unity going on? Everybody the CEO, everybody the vice president, everybody the president. There's no one person that we're going to put on a pedestal to handle all of our business, because we're going to be able to do it all ourselves, unified. Because whatever needs this person has, if I don't need it, if that's not my need, we can still going to profit, benefit from the need of this person. So in the future, it may happen to us because we took care of the need of this person. In the future, it will not happen to us. So that's what we have to think about. Just because it ain't happening to you, and it's happening to that person, don't say I'm not going to deal with it, because that's not my issue. In the future, that could be your issue, and in the future, it could be your children's issue. So we nip it in the bud for this person. This issue will never rise again for anyone else. Because you don't know after you're in the ground if your children's are going to have this issue. So if you settle this issue for this person, that sets the standards for the issue from here on. It will not happen because this issue was settled and protocol and procedure was put in place. So the next time this issue happens, it won't be an issue, because this issue will be stopped by settling the issue with this person right here. It will never be an issue again. So if you educate the citizens on what to do, that's why we need to put law in the school system. Make sure we know the timetables before you graduate from elementary school. Make sure you understand the Bill of Rights before you graduate middle school. And when you're in high school, you know the Constitution. Because once you're in this high school stage, you have to know all those procedures and protocols in government that's in the Constitution. The Bill of Rights we should learn from elementary school to middle school, how to break it down. You get to high school, that's the Constitution. Whatever way you want to put it, it has to be learned in school some kind of way, shape, form. So wherever the blueprint, the citizens come together and take over DPS, let's do it. But I said something at that gathering I went to last night that nobody knew. And I showed that a different departments in a governmental organization did not know what the other department in the school was doing, if it applied. But the information I have, I can prove what I'm stating. Maybe the other organization knew what the other department of the organization was doing, but that organization didn't know what that part of the organization is going through and what they're doing. I can prove it. We need to get a hold of DPS, our learning for the children. We have to re-educate the citizen. we have to do a survey of all the issues that was ignored and denied of a citizen taxpaid by a taxpaid servant. We have to do a survey of that, and that's how we will understand the issue at hand, instead of having the media hurting us to this issue, hurting us to that issue. Did a citizen come with a complaint, and you will say, well, we handling this issue right now. That's why we need to do a survey. We need to do a survey. We know it's homelessness, it's homeless, and it's hunger in the city. We know that from the jump. We know it's denial of due process. We know that from the jump, because we already know what the survey is going to be about, but we're going to have different details. We're going to have details. And we'll be able to cater to all those details. It may take 6 months to compile the information and get a blueprint together. I mean, it may take 6 months or more to get a blueprint together, but that person's issue is going to be recognized. So that person's issue is going to be recognized as non-compliance of a governmental agency. We don't have money, we don't have funding. I don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear that. You have money for wars, you can't feed the poor. I really don't want to hear it. That's that consciousness saying, like, you don't have to read a book if my vocabulary is limited. That's that consciousness. So you just discredit me with no merit. And you believe in that merit, then you will say then you try to discredit me with my own words. That's that lobbying in you, that ignorance in you. And you don't even understand what you're doing. I'm out.
Okay, I'm gonna give a perfect example of what I'm saying. Today's date and time, 1:42 a.m. April the 30th, 2015, Thursday. I think I already said my baptismal name is Clyde Darnell Lynch and all that stuff. I was on the Gratiot bus today. Just left a facility to try to give me some employment. And I believe a little witch girl walked in. I ain't paying no mind. One of them floating people from the hood. I guess somebody told her I'm gonna be there or whatever it was. But after I leave, I'm on the bus. Matter of fact, I'm on the Gratiot bus. I'm coming down, so I talked to some people on the bus about signing my petition for election reform. Now, I'm doing my little speech. I'm saying what I'm saying. And one dude said, what was that word you just said? And I'm like, I couldn't think of what he was saying. That I said, maybe. He said, that's the word. That's the word you said. And I'm like, oh my goodness. We got a lobbyist up in here. I wonder what he have done to fix the situation with him, his city, his county, his state, his community, his family. I wonder what he have done. Like I said earlier in this audio recording, I did one thing that nobody ever did. But since I'm just little citizen by myself, I was ignored. And when I tell people what I did, they be like shocked. Like I just stunned them every time when I say it. And this person said, the key word you said maybe. Well, our rights not being upheld, that's by contract. So what you saying maybe? That's a guarantee. And I can't guarantee nobody something by signing this petition because we can't guarantee our own rights. And that guy said the key word I said was maybe. And that was, I guess he was saying that's why he didn't want to sign the petition. I didn't say nothing. He might thought he got me. He shut down my consciousness. I ain't got no consciousness. That's just common sense. And I know he gonna go brag to his boys, drink, sipping on the beer, smoking on the blunt, if that's what he do. That just show the ignorance in him, in the unnecessary vengefulness. And he was tempted with temptation that was nothing but pure ignorance. Because he didn't know the words that he was speaking. He didn't understand the words that he was speaking. Even the words that I spoke my vocabulary is limited. But he just thought, I know he just, oh, he high and mighty. He won. He shut me down with my so-called intelligence, what he's saying. I just sit back and say, this is what we going against. Just because I said the keyword maybe, I can't guarantee that you sign this petition, things going to happen. You can't even guarantee the liberties and happiness of our own rights on this planet Earth. And he going to say the key word that I said was maybe. See, the key word. He should have said, well, you shouldn't say maybe. Well, everything is pending. But our rights is guaranteed. And we can't even make that go down properly by the government that's supposed to uphold that granted contract law of the protection, service, participation, obedience of the U.S. Federal Constitution, Universal Declaration of Human Rights, Article 30. So I just had to say that. So homeboy, if he ever hear this on the Gratiot bus, that's ignorance. And that's a lobbyist. That's who I call a lobbyist. And he don't understand the own words that he's spoke to me. And he feeling good that he beat it down as a citizen. But you can't do nothing to conquer and destroy the corruptness in the government, in the private public businesses, or with another citizen. But I know he's proud, like, yeah, I shut him down. You was an ignorant lobbyist. Dysfunctionally programmed. That's why we all need to be re-educated. And I don't know everything myself, and I'm out.